What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about the emission rate versus the burn rate. And I'm not talking about any specific tokens here, although it is DEC and SPS. What I'm talking about is how much is being printed by Splinterlands or within the Splinterlands ecosystem every day versus how much is getting burned. Now, I'm going to keep vouchers out of this. Obviously, that is going to factor into this grand scheme of things, but I just want to simplify this so that people can understand where we're at and where, in my opinion, we need to go, right? So let's just make it crystal clear. The relationship between SPS and DEC is the flywheel. You need to burn SPS for DEC. We have an overhang of DEC. We're going to put that to the side, right? So I'm just talking about the fact that we mint SPS every day for all different kinds of rewards, and the ecosystem burns DEC every day for all different kinds of things, right? Including the market fees, anybody who's upgrading guild buildings, anything on land potentially, as well as now the wild season permit. So all in all, right, we've seen a lot of DEC get minted. Going back, again, just to make the numbers easy, going back to, I don't know, where we were maybe like 5 months ago, right? Let's just use those numbers. We were minting roughly 1 million SPS per day, and burning roughly 1 million DEC per day, right? Now, granted, I'm sure those numbers have changed, but I'm just trying to give you the example here and use some easy numbers. So when we talk about the fact that we're minting 1 million SPS, right? And like I said, we've brought that down a little bit with different things here and there, and obviously the price of SPS has come down. But even taking that into account, SPS, right, at 0.62 cents, if we're minting 1 million SPS per day, that's minting $6,200 worth of value into the ecosystem. On the other side, with DEC, if we're burning only 1 million per day, all right, we are burning roughly $630 worth of value. So we're minting 10x worth of value more than we are burning, right? And you can actually see this here in the SPS to DEC chart, right? It's 9.9, right? Close to 10. So my whole point with this is that if we ever want to get Splinterlands into a situation where the game economy is not just humming along, but actually thriving, we need the inverse of that, right? We need to be burning more DEC than the value of SPS that we are printing. Now, obviously, we're very far from that, but the goal is for us to get there, to eat through the DEC overhang. If you think about it, a lot of the DEC faucets have been closed off, right? So Gladiator cards were a big one, reward cards and Chaos Legion. I mean, yes, I know it sucks, and there's probably going to be people, burning those for a while. So but it is finite, right? There is going to be a finite point at which it's not going to make sense, because once you burn through all those, I don't think any of the Rebellion cards and anything moving forward are going to be selling for below their burn value, right? Hopefully. Somebody may clip this in like a year or two and I'll be eating my words. But either way, that's the hope, right? And then, of course, the Soulbound reward cards, those will be unlockable and become a DEC burn, actually, right? A DEC sink. So really the only kind of X factor here is the vouchers, because vouchers provide that discount on anything DEC burns. And I'm going to do a separate video on that. But vouchers provide some kind of discount on DEC burns. But let's put that to the side, because vouchers are printed indefinitely, right? 40,000 per day. So that actually does suck. But again, just conceptually, what we would need to do, right, is get to a point where we are burning way more DEC, way more in value than we are minting. And therefore, it's like, I don't know what that looks like. Either SPS comes down even further in value, right? SPS and DEC are essentially par, or we start burning a hell of a lot more DEC. And so that's just the concept that I'm trying to share with you guys here. That is the equilibrium that we are trying to reach. And the hope is that as we get higher and higher and higher with SPS, right, even if the DEC burn remains the same, the amount of SPS in circulation will start to decrease. So people will no longer be selling their SPS for DEC. They'll just be consistently burning it. And therefore, when you remove that sell pressure, right, the burning, buying and burning just becomes a natural part of the ecosystem. Again, is that's in an ideal situation that is conceptual in theory. We have to see it play out in practice, although, like I said, in theory, it does work nicely. But as you can tell from where we are at right now, with just the SPS DEC relationship, we are minting 10x more value in SPS versus the amount that we are burning from the ecosystem just through regular economic activity. Now, you layer on top of that, as I mentioned earlier, layer on top of that vouchers, which is just another drag, right? And so I don't even want to talk about vouchers. Maybe I'll save that for a separate video. But you layer that on top of everything else. You layer in the DEC overhang that we have. You layer in the fact that there is probably even further of a DEC overhang with all of the other minting. I did forget leaderboards, right? Because there is that. But hopefully that's something that the team will address at a future point. Once we get through that, only then, in my opinion, can we find a way to reach some kind of equilibrium. Otherwise, we would need to see SPS drop dramatically more. But the lower SPS goes, the less incentive people have to play because the rewards aren't as high. So once again, we go back to what is the team's goal? They want to have hundreds of thousands of people playing the game because any and all economic activity, we burn 2% of that just for the market, right? Any new people coming in wanting to start a guild or level up buildings, they're burning that. They're buying land, staking DEC, right? Or buying cores, whatever the case is, or time crystals. All of that ends up being something as a value add for the economy by adding to that burn, right? Adding to that deficit rather than the addition. So that's just what I want to share with you guys right now. How far we are from it, but there is a finite point in time. Now, that being said, I get I get called for being Papa Bear. I get called out for shilling the game and being too positive. I'm not trying to do either in this case because I have no idea, A, if we'll ever get there, or B, how long it would take. And my guess is that I mean, when you think about the fact that, the next couple of months, the team is still working on new player experience. And then beyond that, they want to add in a bunch of other features. We have, the end of Rebellion towards the end of the year. I think that this is something that we may not reach. Like, I don't know that DEC is going to go back to PEG before 2025, right? And not even like January 1st, 2025. I think it could happen like towards the middle of next year. That's just how much of an overhang we have. Unless, of course, we see massive amounts of people come into the game in the last couple of months of this year once the team is actually done with the new player experience and turning on any kind of marketing plans that they have. Or, and this is the big X factor here, speculation on Rebellion ends up being higher than expected, right? Because that could eat up a significant amount of DEC. I mean, yes, half of it will go to the team, but the other half will go to the DAO. And my vote is always going to be to burn whatever DEC is in the DAO. But I'll save that for a separate video because I've been crunching some numbers there, which I think are interesting at this point. But like I said, we'll save that for a future video. So that is all I have for you guys in this one. Just wanted to share my perspective on this in terms of where that equilibrium is, how far we are from it numerically, and then how far we might be from it from a timing standpoint. Again, I hate doing predictions, you know me, but it's more so just looking at where we're at, where we need to go, and there's too many X factors. And if those X factors just don't deliver, right? Like, I always thought Soulkeep was going to be a major X factor, and it's been nice to see a lot of DEC utility coming through there, but it's not nearly what we needed in order to like supercharge this. But again, Soulkeep remains an X factor too because they haven't turned on their marketing yet. They haven't even done any press or PR. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. That's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if that makes sense to you and where you think we could reach that equilibrium at some point in the future. I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.